Okay guys, so I wanted to do a video on pretty much all about Bugsy. This video is going to get really long, I'm telling you guys right now. I'm not going to edit it or anything like that because that would just take too much effort. And you guys will sit here and listen to me ramble about Bugsy, so that'll be a thing. So first off, I'll just talk about like her physical features, and then we'll go on to her personality and then a little bit of backstory. So Bugsy is a 20-year-old BLM Mustang. She was born in January-ish, they think. Um, or that was when she was captured, I guess. It's either the 21st or the 22nd. I can't really remember right now. But so what BLM Mustang means is that she was born on a range and then she was captured and tamed. So if you look at their brand, because they have a brand on their left side of their neck, right? The left side? Yep, the left side. And it's a freeze brand. So what freeze branding does is you take a metal brand, you stick it in liquid nitrogen, and you put it on the horse's neck, and it freezes their neck. So it's a lot more humane than the hot branding that you do to cattle, because horses' skin is very similar to humans, which is why they sweat out of their skin like we do, which they're the only other mammal, I believe, other than humans that sweat through their skin. Um, but it's very thin, just like ours, so that's why they get cut so easily. Um, so branding cattle is fine because if leather is hard. Um, so you can only imagine what the live tissue is like. Um, and people have stopped doing uh, the hot iron even with cattle now, just because it's a little more humane to do the freeze branding. And so it has the little BLM mark in the front, and then there will be two little symbols on top of each other, and that's the year that they believe the horse was born. And then there'll be a long string of numbers that will be where they were, like the range that they came from. So Bugsy's is 246402. So I believe, because that's what I think it says. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. But I think that's what the number says, which that number is Gunning, Gunnison County, Colorado. I'm not entirely sure if I'm saying that right. I could be very, very wrong. I apologize if you live there. Um, and if you want, you can correct me, tell me how to properly say it in the description. I've never been to Colorado, so I have no idea how to say it. Um, but if you go southwest, like draw a straight line southwest of Colorado, that's about where it is. Um, and it's about from the corner of Colorado to Denver, it's about in the middle of that area. So, uh, let's see. Let's go over her actual color first. She is a bay, technically. Um, though she looks more black. When we first got her, she was solid black. Like, she was super black. Um, and now she's starting to look more bay as she's fading out with age. Uh, like, you can start to see the black will come all the way up to her knees, and then it'll start to turn to like this brown, like dark brown color. Um, but it wasn't like that 5 years ago. It wasn't even like that 3 years ago. So she's fading with age. Let's put it at that. So I call her a black bay. She has a white stripe on her forehead that starts just before her ears and ends just below her nostrils. And there's like a little cove on the right side where it like the white moves in and then comes around. She has two swirls on her forehead. She might have three. I think she only has two though. Uh, which some people will say that means the horse is crazy. I personally don't believe in any of that swirly whatever BS. Uh, I do believe in the whole ear thing, the way that the horse's ears move tell you the way that their brain works. But I don't believe in the whole swirl thing. So she has two socks. The one on her right back foot is like at an angle. So this is the back of the foot, this is the front of the foot. It's like that. And it goes to about the middle of her cannon bone. And then on the other side, she has a half a sock. So what I mean by that is on the inside, there's white, but on the outside, it's black, which is funny. I've never seen a horse with a half sock before. Um, and then at the bottom on the rim, there are these little black dots. So her white doesn't connect all the way to the hoof everywhere around her foot. Um, and because there are those little black dots around the cornet, her back feet have stripes on them, and her front feet are just solid one color. She's about 15 hands ish. She might be a little bit shorter than that, but we know that she's 15 hands max because Waco's 15.1, and she's shorter than him by a good couple of inches, like at least an inch, or not an inch, at least a hand. My bad. Um, she weighs about 900 pounds, give or take if she's overweight at any point in time. Um, and her back is like a shelf. You can literally sit, and we've done this, a tea set on a tray on her butt and let her walk forward on like flat ground. We didn't try this on like bumpy ground or in like where she has to go over an incline or down something, but if she's walking on flat ground, that tea set will move, but it will not fall. It's awesome. But she does have like a little trench along her spine because her muscle is a little bit taller than her spine. So we have a lot of rain, I have to make sure that that water gets taken off of there, or else she could get rain rot. My voice is doing weird things right now, but we don't want any rain rot, so I have to make sure that I keep that part of her back fairly dry. She has like a lot of feathers on the bottom of her legs, which I don't clip. I don't clip anything on her. I don't do anything to her, other than I do trim her tail if it gets to the point where if she backs up, she steps on it, and that's simply because I don't want her hurting herself. So I cut it a little bit above the hock, or not above the hock, the fetlock joint, like the hock. No, I don't cut it that far, but I do cut it a little bit above the fetlock. And then it'll grow. I've cut it twice since we've been at this barn, which is insane. It hasn't even been a year yet. She has a little gray streak at the base of her neck because she's getting old, which is adorable. We're in the gray streak club, which you can't tell because I dye mine. But see any other physical features? She's got the generic brown eyes. So now we'll move on to her personality. If I think of any other physical features, I'll let you know. But she has like a very tolerant personality towards kids. I need to stretch my little back out a little bit. I've been sitting for a while doing picture stuff. But she's very tolerant with kids. Like if she knows that it's a kid on her back, she's very, very gentle. She'll be stubborn and like if they can't get her to go, she'll sit and she'll wait by the gate like, can I go eat now? And we call her the Hoover at the barn because she will just vacuum, clean, and hoover up every little scrap of food. Like if we need something cleaned, just let Bugsy go. Her stall is the cleanest of all the stalls, and she's very, very, very particular about where she goes to the bathroom. Like she'll eat over here, and she'll make sure that her poop is as far away from her food as possible, which is fantastic. And she also pees in a little trench that we've dug for her, so she keeps her stall isn't puddly anymore because she pees in her little trough, like trenchy thing. And for the most part, her stall is very easy to clean because it's just like, okay, the piles are all in one little area, just scoop them all up, boop, done. Uh, she drinks a lot of water. We have the bucket, and then we have like a little water above it, and she will drink the entire bucket down, and then if we haven't come to fill up her water yet, she'll drink out of that waterer to the point where her waterer is the cleanest because she drinks so much of it and keeps it going so much that it doesn't like collect algae or dirt or anything. Um, so she is the cleanest horse at the barn. She doesn't really need to be with other horses, though she likes to. Like, if you were to want to take her out on her own, she'd go out on her own. She's fine. Um, if you need to, like, separate her from the other horses for whatever reason, she's fine. She doesn't, like, cry if she's away from other horses like Waco does. Um, but I know that she prefers to be with other horses. I also say that she is a lead mare because the way that she acts with other horses is very lead mare to me. Um, what I mean by that is Pressy does this thing where she will charge at another horse with her ears back and her teeth bared, and Bugsy will stand there and look at her like, you aren't threatening me at all. Go away, you're annoying. And if she's done it enough times, like Pressy, she'll spin her butt too and she'll kick out. And Bugsy will usually let her do it for a little while, and then after she's like, I've had enough, she will spin her butt and she'll kick the crap out of whatever horse is being mean to her or telling her off. And that horse will immediately go to, I'm sorry, I'm going to be over here and I'm going to leave you alone. I'm so sorry. Like, Pressy did this, and it was like, I'm just going to stay over here now. I'm sorry, don't do that again, please. Like, you could see she was like, she kind of like constricted herself a little bit. It was so cute. Also, I don't know what this shading is. It could be my camera. Let's see. Oh, and also if a male tries, like, she's good with every horse until they start something. So, like, she's okay if a horse starts nibbling on her, like, she's fine with that. Um, and if you follow my Instagram, there's a picture of her nibbling on Rocky, and Rocky was nibbling on her, but he stopped when I took the picture because he saw me. Um, but she'll allow that. But as soon as a horse even thinks about mounting her, nope, that's not happening. No, no, no. You will not mount me, sir. Get off. Kick the crap out of him. She used to do it to Chief all the time. But Chief, what he would do, instead of just mounting her, he would bite down at the dock of her tail, and she would get so pissed, and she'd kick the crap out of his chest. It's the most amazing thing. And I'm not one of those people where if I see another horse kick another horse, I don't go, oh, we need to separate them. No, just let them go. That's like if two little kids are fighting with each other. You're fine. No blood, no foul. You're okay. Uh, that's basically my thought process. No blood, no foul. They're fine. Horses can handle horse kicks. Uh, she doesn't like men for the most part. She's very choosy about what men she allows on her, and she actually threw my uncle twice in one day, which was the first and last time that he rode her, and it was fan freaking tastic. Um, he wanted her to go in an area where she was like, nope, we're not going there. And he tried to make her go, and she dumped his butt. So then he tried getting back on, and then she ran back to the hitching post, like, Cat, save me from this crazy dude, because Cat was like her best friend. Um, and then he got on her again, but then he had my cousin Mitchell, who's like a year, like, no, he's a couple months younger than me. Charlie Ann's a year younger than me. Um, put him up on there and tried to ride her exact same spot. She gave him the exact same response. And it took a lot. It takes a lot for her to disown a child on her. So she ignored Mitchell completely and just said, "I've had enough," and dumped them both. Um, which usually she won't do that, but because he was annoying her so much, she was like, "I've had enough. I can't take it." And that was fantastic. He said that she was a crazy horse and that he never wanted his kids on that horse again, and blah 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 blah. I don't care. My Uncle Chuck is a horrible human being, and he puts horses in danger constantly. So I don't care if my horse dumps him on the ground. That's fine. Uh, she's pretty good with females, though she doesn't really tolerate people that don't really know what they're doing. She'll do one of two things. She'll either stand by the gate and not move, or she'll run around like a tablet. Shut up. Hold on. Mm, hold on. 1 second. Tablet. If I didn't plug my tablet in, it would have just continued to beep, and that would have been annoying. So anyhow, so she'll either sit there or she'll just run around like a crazy woman and try to dump you. So that's a thing that she does. She also does this thing where she runs forward, and if she like, she'll test you to see if you're paying attention, and she'll just quickly turn. And if you're not paying attention, you're gonna go out the side door, which is how I fell off of her when I was riding bareback because she was. It was at the time where she was really fat, and I didn't get a good grip on her because she's so round. You kind of have to hold on with your lower leg, even though that's not really how you're supposed to ride bareback. but because she's such a wide horse, it's so hard to grip with your thighs. So you kind of have to grip with your calves too, and I just couldn't get my calves around her enough before she did that, so that's how I fell off. Uh, so that's pretty much her personality. Um, she's not she's not as spooky as she used to be. She used to be really spooky. She's great with dogs. She does this thing though when I guess we're not done with her personality. She does this thing where if I'm doing something and I'm like teaching her something or we're revisiting anything that we've ever done before, like if I'm doing sacking out and we're revisiting a specific kind of sacking out, she'll pretend like, oh, this is something new and scary and I need to be afraid. Simply because she wants to see if you'll stop doing whatever you're doing. And if you let her do that and don't correct her, she will just get away with it. But for the most part, I don't let her get away with things. Um, Most things. There are certain things I let her get away with because I just don't care. Uh, but so she's also really good with the trailer, which is surprising to me because she hasn't been in a trailer for 10 years, I think. So she did great in a trailer, which is fantastic. I love it. But she does get impatient after she's been in a trailer for like an hour. She's like, okay, I'm tired of being in this little metal box. Let me out. I'm done. She's fine for like a 10-minute drive, but if it's like an hour drive or more, she's no. I want to go. She also does this thing where if I'm wanting to lunge her, she'll go around a couple of times, like she'll humor me for a little while, and then she'll just be like, nah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm too old for this crap, and I don't want to do it anymore. And yes, I could make her keep going, and I could force her to continue lunging, but I don't really care if she lunges or not. It's like, all right, we're gonna run you around for a little while, get your itches out, and then I'll leave and I'll let her stay in the round pen, and she'll just run herself out some more. So eventually, she's just gonna continue to run herself out anyhow. So let's work on my part. Some people say that's really bad, but I don't care. Um, and I don't really need to lunge her that often, so she's fine. So when the guy that we got her from, we got her at about 8 years old, and he was the guy that started her, and he started her on a cattle ranch, so she does have some cattle experience. Um, she's really rusty at it though. She would have been a great cutting horse, but we kept her as just a trail horse. She doesn't really know anything but Western, so she doesn't really know anything, even Western discipline. She knows like trail rides and cows. That's about it. And I'm thinking about doing a video of me teaching Bugsy how to do barrels and just doing the patterns with her a couple of times. But that'll probably be around wintertime because neither one of us are very good at regulating our body temperature in the summertime because my body temperature is really, really high. It's like 100 degrees, which is weird. And then she's just getting old, so she can't regulate her temperature anymore. And because she's black, she holds in a lot of heat. So we're waiting. But so we got her at 8, and I've had her for about 12 years. We got her a year after Cat as sort of a buddy. In the time that we had her, the only thing that she's really broken out of fear or by pulling is she broke a lead rope once because a helicopter like flew really low right over our property, and it freaked her out. Like she still is a little bit uneasy with helicopters, but she's gotten a lot better. And I want to fix the problem, but it's really hard to find a helicopter when I really want one. When I feel like doing sacking out, there's never one around. So it's kind of a hard problem to fix. Um, but so, and after he realized that we had horses on the property, the guy that had the helicopter stopped flying so low. Um, but so we had to let Cat go and catch her because we knew the cat would come back. So, and Bugsy would follow him anywhere. And right after we got Chief, which was several years later, he kicked her in the leg, and she went lame for a little while, which is why why I can sit underneath her now because we had to be pretty much underneath her to fix her leg. And I joke that if you want to get a horse to where they're okay with you being underneath them, have another horse make them go lame. I know that's a really bad joke, and that's not the way to do it. Just saying that right now, but it is if you can't tell that I have a really dry sense of humor from that comment, there's no helping you. But yeah, my humor is very, very dry. Jason says I have British humor. So that it's a really bad comment. But so that happened, and then she decided that she didn't want, like, she was gonna stand in urine and feces, so she got thrush, and then she foundered, and that was all on her front feet, even though her back foot was the one that got, that went lame, and it was her right back leg. So we had to have corrective boot, like corrective metal shoes on the front of her foot for a little while, which now her feet are like diamond hard. I've actually broken a pair of nippers from her feet. Um, but she is very good for a farrier, which is fantastic. And my farrier, the guy that we're using now, he usually charges an extra little fee the first time that he works with a horse because he wants to learn their little mannerisms. Um, and he was like, "Oh, it's fine. I'll just charge you the normal rate because she was such a gem." Uh, but so I have to make sure that I keep her feet trimmed down, or else she will founder again, which we don't want. Um, but yeah, so Bugsy for the most part, she was very, very attached to Cat, which it was so sad when he died in 2012, and it was like a week or two before Christmas, which sucked. Um, and usually Mustangs, what they do, and we knew Cat was going. Like I saw him Thanksgiving before he died, and I was lunging him just to get him some exercise because we couldn't ride him. He was so like weak and brittle, and he had like no weight on him. And we were giving him all kinds of supplements to try and get some weight on him, and he wasn't holding any of it, which he was kind of a hard horse to keep weight on anyhow. And I just remember that I was like, he's losing it. We're not gonna have him very much longer. And a couple weeks after that, he started laying down a lot, and we were putting blankets on him because he didn't have any winter coat and it was getting cold. And for the most part, what Mustangs do is if they smell a dead carcass, they won't go anywhere near it. And I remember Bugsy, the night that he died, he laid down on the ground and just gave up. And she stood over him, like completely over him. Like his body was directly underneath her. And she wouldn't let Chief get anywhere near him. Like she chased Chief off. And she tried to chase us away from him because she didn't want us getting anywhere near him either. And it was, I could just see her expression was just this expression of mourning because she'd been with this horse for 12 years. And it was her best friend. And it took us about a half an hour to get her to where we could get to Cat to bury him. And this video got really sad really quickly. I usually don't cry. Oh, oh God. Oh, Cat. Why? Why is it a surefire thing that whenever I start talking about Cat, I always get teary eyed? I just glanced over at Jason. He's sitting in the corner looking at me with like this expression like, do you need a hug? And yeah, probably in a minute. But so that took a very sad turn. And like I said, I usually am not a cry person, but when it comes to my horses and my animals, I get really like emotional about them. Uh, which is why I just that's why I couldn't do that video for Cat, that tribute video, until like a year after he had died. But anyhow, guys, so now that you have all seen me get turned into just a little emotional ball of fluff, uh, if you have any questions about Bugsy, like if you want to know anything else about her that I may have forgotten to mention in this video, you can either ask me in the comment section, or I'll put my email in the description, and you can email me there too if you don't feel like leaving an actual comment. And yeah. But anyhow, guys, so I'm gonna go have a little hug now. Probably not. We're probably just gonna go and do more picture stuff because that's all we've been doing. And that's probably the first and last time you guys are ever gonna see me cry. So enjoy it. I don't know. We're gonna end it there, guys.